Mm. Good morning, beautiful people. We are doing a morning stream. It is time for a morning stream. We haven't done one of these in a while, so I figured, you know what? We got to show my morning people some love here. This mic's always getting in my way. Send out a quick notification. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. We're good there. We'll pull up the chat real quick. See who's going to get first in the chat today. Um, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right. Click on that. Get the chat pulled up. Z, what's up, dude? What's up, Z? Welcome, man. First in chat today. Yeah, we haven't done a morning stream in quite some time. So I was like, you know what? Morning streams are always awesome. We don't often get to do them because I'm simply not around at that time. But today I am. Today I am. So I figured, you know what? Let's go hang out with morning chat for a bit. Let's go hang out with morning chat for a bit, and let's discuss a very basic, very fundamental skill that we talk about here on the channel quite often. You'll also notice that I've changed the appearance of the stream a bit. I'm a sucker for anything neon. I'm a sucker for anything like purple or anything, in that way. So I've changed the stream quite a bit. Let chat fill up just a bit here. What's up, Mint? Good morning. Ivan, good morning. Morning from the UK. Good morning. Soul, what is up? UK, what's up? Welcome, welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. Background looks sick. I'm glad you like it, dude. The other ones match. I'll show you guys real quick. The other ones match. We're going to switch over to the other ones just to kind of show them off for a second. Bada bing. You like that? You like that? Yeah, okay. Okay, we got some matching backgrounds going on. I like it. I dig it. Let's see. Chat's starting to fill up a little bit. Looks great. Thank you, Mint. All right, guys. All right. Shut the worry down. We're going to go ahead and jump into it this morning. I don't want to wait around too long, so we'll go ahead and get the point of this stream started. Shut the worry down. You may be wondering why the live sign is turned off behind me here. It's because until I get my new camera going, it just looks like a blur, so I'm not going to bother turning it on. But anyway, shut the worry down. So a very fundamental, very basic skill. A very fundamental, very basic skill that we learn here. So when we say stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings and live your life, we're essentially talking about cut out the worry, right? When we say stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings, we're referring to second fear. And second fear is worry, right? Now, worry is a very strong habit. It's a very strong habit. So it's very easy to come on the channel, right? And you hear me say, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. When you get the thoughts, just say it is what it is. When you get the feelings, just say, okay, I got this, and live your life, right? Very easy to come on the channel and take that information in. Not as easy to put into practice. Not as easy to put into practice because the worry habit, aka second fear, they're the same thing, is so strong. It's so strong and it's so tempting because you've been doing it for so long. You've been doing it for so long. Okay? It's become second nature. If we're talking about second fear, it's become second nature. So every time you get a thought, right? And if you're honest with yourself, most people that end up sensitized are worry warts, right? You've always been a worrier. If you're honest with yourself, you'll probably discover that trait with yourself. If you think back to your entire life, right? And I don't want you reminiscing on the past too much in a negative way. But if you think back on your past, if you think back on your life, you've probably always been a worrier, right? Every time you've gotten a thought in your life, you probably take it to the extreme with the worry. Every time you get a feeling in your life, you've probably taken it to the extreme with the worry, right? More or less. More or less. Can we all agree on that? I think we can all agree on that. I know myself personally, that's what I did. So you get a thought, you get a feeling. Chances are you've been a worrier most of your life, and you take it to the extreme. You don't just say to the thought, okay, I guess that could happen. It is what it is, and then go back to living. You've never just gotten a feeling and said, okay, well, that's, that's a bit strange. It is what it is. Go back to living. You've probably not done that very often throughout your life, right? So it's fair to say that the worry habit is a strong one. It's fair to say that the worry habit is a strong one, and it's a habit that most people get caught up on. And when we say worry, we mean second fear. Same thing. So it's a very strong habit, and it's a very tempting habit, right? It's a very strong habit, and it's a very tempting habit. So the chances of you getting caught up in it again when you first start to practice acceptance is actually quite high. And that's why I say you don't have to be perfect. That's why I say ups and downs are normal. Here's what you got to do, though. Right? And you guys already know what I'm about to say. Here's what you got to do. You got to make it into a habit to stop the worry habit, right? That sounds strange. You got to make it into a habit to stop the worry habit. That means you've got to be on top of things. So if you're sitting there right now and you've got a lot of strong feelings going on, you notice that you're up in your head with a bunch of worry, it's up to you, and it's on your shoulders, and it's your responsibility to spot that you're up there doing that. Use a little accepting reminder, something to ground yourself. We call it accepting reminders. You can call it what you want to call it. Just a short, sweet statement to kind of say, okay, I'm up there doing it again, right? And then go back to whatever you're doing in reality. Okay, so if you're sitting there with a bunch of strong feelings and you notice you're up in here doing a bunch of blah blah, okay, which we know continues to set the nerves off, keeps you in that cycle, it's on your shoulders to catch that and shut it down, right? Now, same concept if we're talking about negative intrusive thoughts. Let's say you just experienced a negative intrusive thought like 2 minutes ago that said something, this big bad horrible thing is going to happen, or whatever your intrusive thought said, and you're sitting here now 2 minutes later still in your head with a bunch of blah blah, doing a bunch of blah blah, right? It's on your shoulders to spot that and shut that down. How do you do that? Like I said, we call it little accepting reminders. It's basically just a statement that you give to yourself to kind of call yourself out on it, right? It's a statement that you give yourself that's positive and accepting to pull yourself back into reality and get out of that rabbit hole, right? And you might have to use these often. Don't feel ashamed of that. Don't make yourself feel guilty for having to use these often, right? If you are an extreme worrier, which I think it's fair to say that most people that end up sensitized are extreme worriers, you might have to ground yourself. I guess that's what we're calling it today. You might have to ground yourself with these little reminders quite often, right? To get out of those rabbit holes or to avoid going in them to begin with, you might have to use these little reminders quite often, right? So either way you look at it, it doesn't matter. If you can get out in front of it, which means you're having thoughts, you're having intrusive thoughts, and you're having feelings, but you got out in front of it, you used a nice little grounding reminder, a little accepting reminder to yourself, and you just kept living, so you never even went into the rabbit hole to begin with, great. Or, the other way, you're already in the rabbit hole. You've been sitting there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, adding a bunch of worry to these thoughts and feelings, but then you catch it. You're like, oh shit, I'm doing it again. You give yourself that little accepting reminder, right? You ground yourself, you get out of the rabbit hole, you go back to living. Great. Either way it goes, you're scoring points, right? Either way it goes, you are interrupting the second fear cycle. So whether you're able to get out in front of it, great. Whether you notice that you're already in that rabbit hole and you're going to call yourself out on it, give yourself a little grounding reminder, get back to living, great. Either way it goes, we're practicing, we're making progress, we're interrupting the second fear cycle. So great. Now, what do you pair that with, right? We call that stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. Everything we just discussed, we call that stop fighting with your thoughts and feelings. Use that little reminder, get out of when we say fighting with your thoughts and feelings, it happens up here with the worry. After you've done that, after you've intervened, if you're already doing that, or after you've got out in front of it, right, what do you pair that with? You pair that with living life, right? You pair that with living life, and that's the two main keys right there. So here's a little example, right? I wake up, I'm having a bunch of strong anxiety symptoms, I'm having intrusive thoughts, I'm in my head worrying, adding all that second fear, blah, blah, blah this, blah, blah, blah that, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing it, right? You know what? Scratch all that. I got this. These feelings can come. That thought, it is what it is. And then what do I pair that with? I get up and I go take my shower to start my day, right? And now I rinse and repeat this. This is not a one and done. This is a rinse and repeat process, right? Staying out of the worry, living your life. Not a one and done. it's a rinse and repeat. You either get out ahead of it or you pull yourself out of it if you're already in it. Either way, you're scoring points, right? So you pair that with living life. And that's the two main keys right there. And the reason that's the two main keys is because as you're living your life, you're not using a bunch of physical compulsions. You're just living how you want to live. That shows your brain that all is well. And as you're staying out of the worry habit so much and trying to interrupt it when you spot it, right, you are giving the nerves a break because you're doing less worry. We know that worry can set off the nerves, right? So you're tackling both ways that the brain learns. Tackling both ways that the brain learns. That's beautiful. And that's why we have two keys. And that's why there's two keys for a reason. You can set the amygdala off with your worry. So when we spot it and we use an accepting reminder and we shut it down, right? Every time we do that, we're setting the amygdala off less and less. And as we're living life, we're also proving to the brain that there's no real danger. We're not in a corner anymore, right? We're not literally in bed in a corner. We're doing what we want to do. That doesn't mean you have to pack your day full of things, but it means that you're doing what you want to do. That's why we have those two keys. That's why they're there. That's why we don't just have one main key. That's why we've got two, because you're tackling both ways that you're going to help heal your nerves. You're tackling both ways that you're going to help retrain your brain. Now, again, my main point for the stream this morning is that the worry habit is a very strong habit, right? And you might have to do this quite often, and that's okay. Do not feel guilty over that. Do not feel ashamed of the fact that you got to ground yourself quite often. Do not feel guilty over the fact that you got to call yourself out on your worry habit quite often. Do not feel guilty that you have to spot it and shut it down quite often, right? It'll get easier as time goes on, but do not feel guilty for having to put in the work, okay? Not a problem. Not a problem. It's a habit. It's a very strong habit. It's a habit that you've probably had for many, many years, right? So do not feel guilty that you have to put in some work, okay? No need to feel guilty here. So this morning's stream was basically just a quick little summary of the two main keys. Just, touching back on that worry again, man. Touching back on that worry. As long as we've been here, as long as we've been doing this channel, and probably until the day that we stop, we will always have these streams, from time to time, where we touch specifically on worry, because that worry is second fear. We'll always have these streams from time to time where we come back and touch on worry, because it's just so fundamental, it's just so crucial. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this little morning stream. We're going to get into the chat, read some chats from you guys. I had my heater on, man, because it was cold last night. Now I'm starting to burn up. Maybe when I go on my little spills here, I don't know. But I'm starting to get a little sweaty in here, so I might have to turn that off. We're going to switch over to post stream. Beautiful new post stream. Oof. Isn't it sexy? Isn't it sexy? Let's see. Oh. Okay. Mint. Thank you so much for that, Mint. I appreciate you. Scared me a little bit. Scared me. Hey, I love it. I love a little jump scare in the morning. It gets things going the right way. Thank you so much, Mint. Getting tongue-tied for the $30 tip. Let's show Mint some love in the chat. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mint. Let's read some comments. Again, shout out to you, Mint. Can't log back onto the Discord, so I had to delete the account. Can't get back on now. Well, the security on the Discord is set to the highest level, which means you got to have a valid phone number to verify yourself before you can join. So a lot of times what happens is people join, they use their phone number to verify their account, they end up leaving the Discord for one reason or another, they try to join back soon after, and they forgot their login details, and they can't just make a new account because they need another number, right? So it's tricky, man. I want to set my Discord on the high security for multiple reasons, but then when people leave and then want to come back, sometimes they can't come back, and it's tricky. So here's what I'm going to do, Kev, just for you, my guy. I'm going to go right now, set that Discord setting down one notch. That should let you get back in. If it'll let me, because I'm streaming, it might not let me. No, we should be good, actually. I'm going to set that Discord security down one notch for you. Go ahead and try to get in real quick before we set it back. I'll probably be setting that back within a day. So if you're having that problem, you can't get in the Discord because you need a valid number, now's your chance to squeeze in. before we set it back. And try to remember, guys, if you are going to join the Discord, I know sometimes we have little disagreements over there. Sometimes somebody might say something to you, hurt your feelings a little bit. I get it. I completely get it. But try to remember that if you leave, there might be a chance that you can't get back in, right? So just try to remember that before you act out of raw emotion, right? Want to grow a strong habit, but how about if your brain is wired biologically to think in this sort of way? How do you change that? That's the trick. Well, you don't try to change it. Nothing about this journey is about changing anything. If your brain is wired to think a certain way, which you're basically hinting at, my brain is very anxious, my brain is very worried, there's a lot of fear in my brain because I've lived the way that I've lived for so long. We're not necessarily trying to change that. That'll change on its own if you stay out of it. You reinforce these thoughts the more you get involved. You reinforce the way that your brain is currently wired the more you get involved. If you stop getting involved, you'll loosen up the wiring. Does that make sense? So it's not necessarily that you're going to try to brute force change anything. That's very stressful, very time consuming, and very energy zapping. So we're not necessarily trying to brute force change anything. We're staying out of the rabbit holes. So the brain might be wired to be anxious. Yes. It might throw you a bunch of anxious thoughts. Yes. But if you stay out of the rabbit holes, every time these thoughts come, you simply say, okay, you know, I'm not going to go there. It is what it is. You know, if that bad, horrible thing happens, so be it. I'm not going to add to it, though. I'm not going to worry about it. You know, you're not trying to push the thought away. You're accepting it when it comes, but you're not following it, right? You do that enough, and these thoughts that are so concreted right now will start to loosen up because you're going a different path. You're no longer going down the same pathways every single time. So the pathways that are already wired, they fire off. And if you continue to travel those pathways, they get stronger, right? You start to add more concrete to the mix. But the moment you decide, okay, there's those thoughts firing off, I'm not going to follow, I'm not going to go down that path, just going to give myself a nice little accepting reminder, you know, whatever you want your accepting reminder to be. And I'm not going to go there. You know, it is what it is, and then I'm going to go back to living, right? Hey, $20 tip says, thanks, bro. Whoop, whoop. Hey, man, I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you. I got your name here on my phone, but I don't want to say your real name, but I can't pronounce your username, so we're in a bit of a dilemma. To the lovely, amazing person, which I know who you are, I just can't pronounce your user. I don't want to say it wrong. Do you care if I say your first real name, or is that a problem? I want to give you props, but I don't want to butcher your username. So thank you for the $20 tip. I'll let you get back to me on that. Yeah, but see that's the thing, UK. Also, we hit tip goal. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad I realized that. It's Chris. Yes, I know it's Chris because I got the notification, but I didn't want to say it in case you weren't comfortable with that. But Chris, thank you so much for the $20 tip, dude. Hey, my name's Chris too. Hey, there we go. Thank you for the $20 tip, dude. That's tip goal, guys. Thank you so much, Morning Stream. You are all awesome and amazing. Thank you so much again, Chris and Instant Mint. UK says yes, makes sense, I guess. Well, you got to think of it this way, UK. Every single time you've ever got one of these thoughts, what do you do? What do? You go down the same pathway. So you're just reinforcing it. You're reinforcing it. You're telling the brain that these thoughts are important by the fact that you keep going there, right? So if you want to tell your brain something different, don't try to brute force it. Instead, just when the brain presents these pathways, don't take them anymore. Right? You don't have to brute force change it. You just got to stop traveling down that road. So let's say your brain brings an intrusive thought that it normally brings, you know, something bad. Okay, well, you're just going to reinforce to the brain that there's a danger or that thought's important if you go down that path. But if you see the thought, accept the thought, and give yourself a little reminder, you know, if it happens, it happens, whatever. You know, just be kind of sarcastic. If it happens, it happens, whatever. You know, no big deal. I don't care. And then just go back to living. No matter how tempting, and believe me, it is so tempting to get involved. It is so tempting to follow. We used to call it here on the channel, don't follow your thoughts. That still applies, right? Same thing. I know it's so tempting to follow, but if you don't follow, no matter how tempting, if you just accept the thought and give yourself a little reminder, even if you have to say it a few times, you know, it is what it is. No, I don't have to go there, you know. You just leave the thought alone and you go back to living. That's the two main keys right there. That's always been the two main keys. You know, have the thought, have the feeling, but the moment you start to follow these thoughts, you just remind yourself, no, I don't have to go there, right? and then you go back to living, the two main keys right there, you're cutting out the worry and you're living, your brain will start to notice that these thoughts are not as important as it's made them out to be for so long, right? Right? Your brain will start to notice that these thoughts are not as important as you've made them out to be for so long, and therefore those pathways will start to get loosened up. They'll start to get loosened up. So there's a million different ways you can word this, but at the end of the day, two main keys, right? There's a million different ways you can word it. There's a million different reasons why we have the two main keys, right? But at the end of the day, live your life, and when these thoughts come, accepting a little reminder, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole. It is what it is. Go back to living, right? No matter how tempting it is to follow, don't follow, just accept. You know, it is what it is. Give yourself as many little reminders as you need to keep yourself out of the rabbit hole. Just accept. Go back to living. Two main keys right there. Tackles both ways that the brain learns. But it does take a lot of work, especially at first, right? Because at the end of the day, you got to be the one who gives yourself those reminders. You got to be the one who stays out of the rabbit hole and just accepts, right? You got to be the one that holds yourself accountable when you're up in the head doing the extra worry, right? Right. So a lot of work at first. Does get easier though. Olivia, good morning and welcome. How do I use Cash App or transfer? Cash App is one way that you can send in a tip. You don't get the special little GIF and the music on the stream on the screen, which I know a lot of people tip for. They really enjoy that. You don't get that unless you use the link in the description. I think if you use Streamlabs link, which is the link, the first link there, I think you can use, it accepts multiple payment methods, doesn't it, chat? I'm not really sure. If you want the fancy stuff on the screen, you got to use that link. If you go directly through the PayPal by using my email or the Cash App, then I just have to read it out from my phone. Let's see. I wonder where Captain A is at. I don't know. Where is Captain A? Is he in school? He might be in school at this time, actually. Did you not go to bed yet? It was just listening to last night. Well, no, I haven't went to bed yet since last night's stream. But for a lot of people, they have went to bed, and now they're awake for another day. Me personally, no. This is technically still all my same day. Hey, I appreciate that, T. I must have missed you sneaking into the stream there. Must have missed that. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is still a perfect time for me too, because I'm taking an evening walk. I think you're like one of the only ones in the stream that goes for evening walks at this time. But this is like a perfect time for you, so you're like a perfect time for you. Send the link. You just have to click the X on chat UK, and you should see a link there. Yeah, you should see a link there. I don't know. I think if you use the link in the description, it lets you have multiple different payment options. I'm not really sure though. I can't verify that. I've never tipped to myself, so I could be giving you the wrong answer there. Maybe somebody else in chat can help you out. If you click the link in the description, guys, do you get multiple choices of payment, or is it through PayPal? I'm not sure about Streamlabs, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought about that, Ghost, which Cash App's new to me. I did introduce, like, to make it easier for people that want to tip, which of course is optional. Tipping is optional. It's always optional. But for the people who do want to tip, I have introduced, the Cash App. For the longest time, we just did PayPal here. We did PayPal for like 3 years straight here. I recently made a Cash App to have that there. So we've got those two choices. And of course, there's a link in the description. I need someone to kind of verify that for me. You don't have to tip me. But if you could just click the link and see if, like, I don't know, when you go to checkout, does it give you different payment options? Because if the link in the description does that, then it should be covered. We got all the payment options you need. But anyway, I know I'm not much help there, but let's see, who else we got in chat? I don't want to get too caught up on talking about tipping. Let's see. Let's see here. I will answer any questions about tipping that people has, but I try not to mention tipping a whole lot because it's right there on the screen, and I don't want people to think that all I'm doing is talking about tipping all the time. It's completely optional. It's completely optional. It's Simple Wonder Bro. It's Mandans. I love the Jack Black on screen, dude. He makes the whole thing. He makes the whole thing. What do you guys think about the new backdrops? Do you like the new theme we got going on? I tried to keep it all purple, and I tried to keep it all pixel art. I'm a huge fan of pixel art. Favorite color is purple, if you can't tell by now. Pixel art, anything neon, I love it all. Anything neon, space related, kind of sci-fi, I guess, fantasy type stuff. I don't know. I love it. I love it. Oh, and we also got a new matching end screen. So here's all of our screens right now. Beautiful. If you're late, look at this beautiful new screen. And we got this one. Got this one right here. And we got the BRB screen. What do you guys think about that? I think that all matches pretty well. We got the same color scheme going on at least, and it's all pixel art, so I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so if you go through Streamlabs link, it's still only PayPal. Okay, bummer. I thought the Streamlabs link gave you more options, but I thought maybe you could just like, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. Beautiful person on the first screen. Aw, Ghost. Ghost. Aw, you're gonna make me blush. You're gonna make me blush, man. What song is on the BRB screen? I get asked that all the time because it's so catchy, but I'll be completely honest with you. When I picked that song for the BRB screen, all I did was go to the free, copyright-free songs on the YouTube Creator. They have this thing for YouTubers where you can go and download these songs. I just picked a random one and downloaded it, and I changed the file name to BRB Screen Music. So now anytime anyone asks me what the song is, I don't know because I changed the name to the file name to BRB Music. So my bad on that one. My bad on that one. I love them. Thank you, Olivia. I have minimal anxiety for months now, but sometimes I still wake up with horrible feeling and rapid heartbeat. Usually accept and go back to sleep, but I don't understand why that still happens. You got to think of it like this. Look at the progress you made. From what you just told me, minimal anxiety for months now, that's at least like, what, 90% progress? So the fact that you still get slapped with a little bit of anxiety on the random, okay, that's to be expected because before you started making all this great, terrific progress, which, by the way, congratulations, but before you started making all of this progress, you probably had some very bad habits when we're talking about worry and stuff, you know, second fear and all that good junk. You probably had all those habits for how many years? Even if you didn't realize it, even if you weren't sensitized, you probably had these traits for how many years, right? How many years? So the fact that within, you've had minimal anxiety for a few months now, which is great, 90%, but you do get smacked with a little bit of anxiety from time to time, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're on the home stretch. Just keep driving and home. You know what I mean? You're on the home stretch. The fact that you still have a little bit of anxiety, that's fine. That's fine. That's normal. That's to be expected. Look at all the progress you've made. Just keep going. Just, you got some loose ends to tie up. No big deal. No big deal. Yeah, for a few years for sure. Yeah, man. So think about it that way. A few years compared to a few months. You've made like 90% progress in a few months. So the fact that you still got a little bit hanging on here and there, I mean, if you look at it that way, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. I'm gonna strike for new payment options because I want to donate through my thing. I appreciate your diligence, Ghost. I do. But what thing are you talking about? Like, maybe I can make that happen for you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What other PayPal and Cash App? Like, that's the two most popular, right? Like, I don't think there's not really much out there else besides that's too popular, right? Venmo, I guess, but I don't even know many people that use that. I don't know, Ghost. You may just have to You may just have to accept the fact that you can never tip. That's okay. It's okay. We still love you all the same. It's no big deal, man. No big deal. We still love you, Ghost. It's definitely a process, Chris, right? It's definitely a process. And like I keep saying, you know, not to run it in the ground, but when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, all these years of bad habits and now, you know, all these, you know, these few months of improvement, when you compare it side by side like that, it makes sense that you still have some loose ends to tie, right? I say keep on track because obviously you're going in the right direction. Keep working on things. Retraining a brain is not an overnight process because a brain is, I don't want to say it's a tricky piece of work. It's not very tricky, you know, once you understand what's going on and what you got to do. So I don't want to use the word tricky, but it's resilient, right? It'll change. It's willing to change. It often changes. But at the same time, it wants to be sure, right? It takes, you know, consistency. It takes work. Actually meant actually when you say you know, you might be getting caught up in some worry over the fact that you're hungry or have been more hungry the last few days, right? And you're eating and it's not changing. I wouldn't get caught up in any worry over that. Okay, well, number one, because worry is always going to be useless anyway. Number two, though, my point is, it sounds like your appetite's returning, which for sensitized people is a green flag all the way. A green flag all the way. You ask anybody here on the channel that's ever recovered, and there's quite a few of us, right? You ask anybody who's ever recovered, what are some signs that they were on the right track? And they're going to tell you that they started to sleep better, and they're also going to tell you that they started to eat like a fucking horse, right? So I would not look at you being so hungry here recently as a bad thing, right? Now, I know your mind's probably going to say, yeah, but what if that's not the reason? I blah, blah, blah. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Accepting reminder. Get back to just watching the stream, right? Um, but that is a strong possibility. That is a strong possibility. That's a good sign. Anybody who's ever recovered will tell you that they had the appetite of a horse, right? Right? And that they needed more food than usual. That they needed more food than usual. So, you know, you may have had your appetite or have had your appetite for some time now, but the fact that you're just wanting to eat more and more is usually a good sign. It's usually not a bad sign, right? Now, I know you might already have one foot in a rabbit hole. Take it out. Take the foot out, right? You might already have one foot in a rabbit hole here. Remember what we talked about this stream, where we're giving ourselves an accepting reminder. We're not going down that rabbit hole. Throw yourself some accepting reminders here and get back to just watching the stream instead. Take that foot. Mint, I see you sticking the other foot in there. Stop it. Somebody grab Mint before she goes down that rabbit hole. Somebody grab her, pull her out, right? So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just throwing some suggestions around as to what it could be. But whether I'm right or wrong, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. No big deal, right? You're eating. You're hungry. Okay, right? Not worth going down that rabbit hole. In fact, there's a lot of people that love that reminder. A lot of people that use that as their accepting reminder. It's not worth it. They get a thought. They want to argue with it and fight with it. They just accept it instead and remind themselves that it's not worth it. Eating is the best. Just ask Wonder Bro. What is that supposed to mean, Ghost? Was that a stab? Look, I know I'm a big boy, okay, but that's just uncalled for. I'm joking. Eating is the best thing. Eating's the best thing ever. Yeah, when can we get some recipes, Ghost? When can we get some? Drop some recipes over in food chat. Drop some recipes. Somebody go get Mint. Mint, get over here. We love you. We don't want you going there. We love you. We don't want you going there. Hey, again, huge shout out to Mint. Huge shout out to Chris, man, for taking us to our morning tip goal. Not only is this a morning stream, but this is a morning stream. Like, it's 7 a.m. morning stream. And we still hit tip goal. That's unbelievable. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. We are going to cut this one here, though. We're going to cut this one short. I got some calls I got to make. I got to do a few things that I need to get done this morning. So we are going to cut this one a little bit short. Chat is already dying out. We're at like 8 viewers. It's a weird time to be streaming. So I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover, though. We answered some good questions. So I feel okay with leaving it here. But thank you guys so much for watching, man. I will give us a little bit of an outro song here. We're going to play our song. So stick around if you want to hear our song. You guys know what I'm talking about. I will fire that up, though. I will fire that up. Let me find it real quick. But thank you guys so much again for watching. Make sure you leave a like on the stream. It helps get these videos boosted up in the algorithm, which helps other people find them that might need this advice. So every time you leave a like, it really does help more than you know. 10.4K subs. We are on the way, man. Let's get this song going. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, as always, stay awesome.
I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die, yeah. Did it die. Did it die. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect, I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a lowlife, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting, don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored, careful what you wishing for. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die?